ever hook up my phone.
All right, and we are broadcasting live.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We've got a small group. There's 8 of us here, but that meets our quorum requirements. So we'll get moving with the annual meeting first. We have 2 meetings today, the annual, where we elect our officers, go over committees and talk about bylaws updates, etc. And then we will move into our regular meeting. At both meetings, we will introduce ourselves, etc. Based on if people are joining at various times. So why don't we go around the room and introduce ourselves, where we're from. And I'm gonna start online first. And John, if you want to start us off.
Morning, John Potter from Hudson.
Good morning, Dinora Marquez from Milwaukee.
Thank you, Dinora. Are we able to turn that up more?
It's actually, John, you're normally kind of quiet from your microphone, so however you can jack that up, please do.
Wonderful. And then Matt.
Matt Wallach from Madison.
Karen Ann Hoffman, Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Lynn Ritchie, Land O'Lakes. Vivian Timchenko, Arts Board staff.
George Seagrass, Hartsford staff.
Brian Kelsey, Fishburne, Wisconsin.
Caitlin Burrow, staff. Jane Herring, Kenosha.
Lashondra Vardan, Milwaukee.
And 1 second, we have, John, do you want to introduce yourself quickly? Just, we're recording.
John Johnson, board member from Madison.
Thank you. All right. Okay, can you guys hear us okay? We just had some strange noise come through our owl.
That's downstairs.
Okay, thank you. If you're not speaking online, if you want to go into mute, just, yeah, thank you very much, just so that we don't get any weird feedback. Thank you, guys. You have the packet that was sent out and hopefully have reviewed it. Is there someone willing to approve the agenda for our annual meeting?
Hoffman, so moved.
Thank you, Karen Ann.
Ritchie, second.
Thank you, Len. So we have a motion and a second. And Jane, I'll look to you as you say, slow down or not slow down.
I'm good.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, Jen is not able to be with us today. Do we have another person from the nominating committee who is giving the nominating report?
Going as far as I know.
I am on it, but I was not given the report,
Okay,
so.
well, I know it was.
So I can say it since you're one of the people who
Exactly.
nominated. The current slate of executive committee has all volunteered to continue their work. So that would mean Brian Kelsey, chair, Lynn Ritchie, vice chair, Jane Herring, secretary, and members at large, John Potter, who is also the budget committee chair, and Karen Ann Hoffman.
Okay, so it is up to me then to ask for whether there are any nominations from the floor for president or chair, Brian Kelsey, any other nominations from the floor? Nominations from the floor? Nominations from the floor. So hearing none, do I ask for a motion? I could use a motion to
I move to approve.
Johnson. Okay, a second.
Johnson.
Hoffman.
Okay, all those in favor of Brian Kelsey continuing as chair, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Abstention.
Yes. Okay, and I turn it over to you now.
You can do vice chair.
I can still do vice chair, okay. And sorry, are there any other nominations for vice chair? We have Lynn Ritchie, who is offering to continue as vice chair. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Other nominations? And I need a motion.
So moved, Kelsey.
Second?
Wallach.
Wallach, okay. And all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? And Sounds good, okay. And now.
Bunch of members at large.
Okay.
Finish with you.
That sounds fun. Okay, we have two members at large as reported, and let's first address one of those positions currently held by Karen Ann
We can
Hoffman,
do them both together.
and the other position that is held by John Potter. Are there any nominations from the floor for either of those positions? Any nominations from the floor? Any nominations from the floor? Okay, I look for a motion to appoint both of those in their positions.
I'll make motion, Richie.
Johnson second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And abstained, I'm sure on both of their parts. Okay, now,
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much, Jane. Jane has been, willing to continue serving as role of secretary. Are there any nominations?
those who clap have to make it up.
Are there any nominations from the floor? After that resounding applause. Any
And I'm sure it's
nominations
not
from
the
the
quality.
floor? And for the third time, any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Richie.
Thank you, Lynn. Is there a second?
Wallach.
Thank you, Matt. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention. All right, motion carries. Thank you all for continuing to serve and for work you do. We will now move into John Potter, who's got a report from the bylaws committee.
Thank you. How's the volume?
Ooh, it's really loud now.
We're gonna fix that here.
We'll turn it down on
You're
the.
very hot, John. Very hot mic.
So the bylaws committee met recently, and that consists of Matt and I. We found 3 sections where the practice of the board deviates from the bylaws. And I'll be contacting the appropriate chairs as well as George to determine if we wish to change the practices or if we wish to amend the bylaws. There's also an instance, one of the sections refers to meeting by telephone. And we could either delete that section or we could make an amendment there for proper communication. So I'll talk to George about that as well. And then finally, the Accessibility Committee is listed as a standing committee in the quarterly meeting agenda, and that is incorrect. They are an ad hoc committee, but we have considered them as a standing committee. So we're looking at, if the board wishes to make them a standing committee, we would ask that the Accessibility Committee determine the responsibilities. And if we're ready for that, we can do an amendment at the upcoming fall meeting. And if we're not ready for that, there's no rush, but I'll again be in contact with the committee to determine that. So any amendments that we might have would be suggested at the fall meeting. That concludes my report.
So it would be discussed at the fall meeting for potential approval at the December meeting?
Do that.
We present it 30 days in advance or whatever our bylaws state? Okay, so that we'd be prepared to vote on it.
I would prefer to do that. And there's nothing, they aren't, there's nothing that needs immediate attention.
Wonderful. Thank you guys very much for looking through that. It's important to keep our eyes on the bylaws periodically and figure out where we are deviating or where our practices have changed and we need to amend our bylaws to meet the actions of the board. So thank you guys very much. All right, everybody's favorite section is the appointment of the committees. There was a link provided on the document. I'm just going to go through who is on the committees currently. And then I am going to ask that if there's a committee you are no longer interested in serving on, Or if you'd like to potentially look at another committee, those are things that if you reach out to George and me, we would appreciate it. Our current executive committee is myself, Lynn, Jane, Karen Ann, and John, which we just voted on. Budget and Finance, the chair serves as a non-voting member of all committees. I'm assuming is on our, yes. Budget and Finance, John Potter is the chair, and then John Johnson, Susan Lipp, and Matt Wallach. External Relations, Chella is the chair. Mary Gilo, former Arts Board member, serves on that committee as an external. Jane Herring, Karen Ann Hoffman, John Johnson, Dinora, and Matt serve on External Relations. Nominated committee is Jennifer Schwarzkopf, Susan Lipp, and Len Ritchie. Personnel is myself as the chair and then the other members of the executive committee. Strategic planning is John Johnson as the chair, and then Chella, Tyler, John Potter, Lashandra, and Bob Wagner as the external relations, as the, excuse me, external member. We have ad hoc committees. The first has been sunsetted and that was the 50th anniversary, so they are finished for their work. We have the accessibility committee, which is chaired by Bill Mitchell and then has one other board member, that's Lynn Ritchie on that. And then we have Catherine Bolt and Brunner, former Arts Board member, Christina Martin Wright, Bob Wagner, former Arts Board member, and Wendy Wheeler serving on that committee. Bylaws is John Potter is the chair, Matt Wallach. And Creative Wisconsin.
So we've left this on here, but it's up to the board to determine whether it wants to continue thinking about that. And that's why it says the committee is inactive.
Yeah. Yep. Do we want to talk about that now or do we want to, I think.
We can certainly.
All right, so this Creative Wisconsin was a committee that was created eight or so years ago. And it was engaging the creative leaders around the state. They had one meeting, two?
They had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of meetings, and then it kind of has gone dormant, and it says this committee is inactive. I can tell you who was or who is on this committee, and they are all external, excluding Susan Lipp, because Susan's on ours, but with full compass. It's Tamara Brantmeyer, Roy Elkins, Zach Homestad, Ted Ham, Ken Hansen, Christine Harris, Denise Roberts McKee, Jeremy Shamarowitz, thank you, Jam Shields, and Dennis Winters.
I'm pretty sure that should be James.
I think so
Now
too,
that I'm looking at that, yeah.
but James sounds good.
Yeah.
So James Shields, and those are the current, but this committee is currently inactive.
Yeah, and to that point, I think if we were to reactivate the committee, we'd have to go back and
Have a,
not only talk about these people, but think about who we might include.
exactly,
And what
and what
the
its
committee
purpose is.
actually,
So the purpose was to both advocate the creative economy to ourselves, you know, by bringing the voices of people beyond the nonprofit arts to the arts board, and then to take it to the legislator or other policymaker. Lots has changed in the creative economy since that committee was created, and so, but again, if the board is interested in pursuing it, when things start to calm down in our world, we can certainly address it.
I think watching the budget process play out, is gonna give us better indication of how rapidly we would need to reactivate this. One of the purposes of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, was looking at funding models, and this is when Governor Walker was, the governor at the time, and we were, as a board, trying to reach out to creative industries to speak on the behalf of the importance of the arts and what it means to fund the arts as well, at the nonprofit and the individual artist level, as we were looking at great creative organizations. I'll use Full Compass as an example of theaters or live performances or her business is directly impacted by that. And so it was really trying to engage them in conversations and helping us reach into doorways we may not have access to and opening those doors for the organization to better educate leaders in the creative industries. We, I would say one opportunity we had, and this is when Governor Walker was in Fond du Lac, And
Mm.
we went in, Kevin and George and I, were there with the governor. And Mercury Marine, we stopped at Mercury Marine, and this is where they talked about the importance of having an arts center in, or the arts as a whole in Fond du Lac, because it was hard for them to attract workers from around the world into Fond du Lac, and looking at what quality of life, et cetera, is, and the importance of, they're not the ones coming alone, they're coming with family. And it was important that they felt that it was a community in which they wanted to live. So it was helping us tell a story to the governor at the time, and then we had gone over to the Thelma Sadoff Center for the Arts, and the governor spoke there, and it was gathering people to be able to have conversations and to help the governor better understand, and we were making great headways. At that time, it really had a positive impact.
The governor actually used the words creative economy in multiple speeches after. So it did make, headway.
Exactly, so that is the potential power of this enacted committee. And as we go through and see what's happening at the national level and how that's gonna impact us as we're going through the biennium budget right now, the biennial budget plan. We may very much want to reactivate, re-energize, and see how they can help us. Yes, Deshondra.
So, thank you. I would like to see this committee reactivated. I know that the budget is a priority for like how it would function or what purpose it would serve. But I don't feel that we are actively convening the creative industry across boundaries of nonprofit and for-profit in a way that we need to, regardless of the outcome of the budget.
That's right.
So I'm in support of moving it forward, not making a motion yet, because I want to leave space for discussion, of course. But I see a value in revitalizing this committee.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I guess I would agree with that in terms of being ready to pounce rather than having to spend time trying to figure out, oh, who should be on this? You know, if you are already thinking about that, great, you know, have the list ready and then have those people know that they're going to participate. And it just seems like the way things are going right now, we're gonna have to do something.
Well, I think we could probably test the water by reaching out to these folks and saying, currently you're sitting, you know, you have been on this committee in the past, it's not been active of recent. We are looking at potentially reactivating this committee. Are you interested in continuing to serve on this committee? If reactivated, if so, thank you. If not, then it gives us the opportunity to say who is not at this table, which industries are not being represented, what areas of the state are not being represented. So
Why
that-
did it become non-active?
it was
Well, it came at the time that Kevin left the board, and Kevin was really pushing hard on it, and then as he left and that transition went on, we just didn't have the time to get into that space. Just adding on to what you said, I think one of the things we could welcome the board to do is to give us thoughts about who might serve on a committee like this. Because I think, these folks were relevant and ready at the time that we did this. Change has happened in their lives, changes happened in the field, changes happened in the concept of creating economy. So they would welcome additional
Absolutely.
names, and then we can go out and start to put together the puzzle to make it relevant.
100%.
So,
Because it would be, in my eyes, it would be great to then have these people go out to testify when joint finance comes, that they are also speaking on behalf of industry
That's it.
versus us going out as nonprofit leaders or individual artists or, you know, members of the Wisconsin Arts Board. So
and that was the rationale.
wonderful. All right. Well, that's good. I think what I'm hearing is we will reach out to these members to see if there's continued interest. It'll give us a better understanding of, you know, when you create a board matrix of what are the skills that we're missing. And we will report back at the September meeting on this.
Is the list of the members you named and their affiliations available?
We can get the
somewhere?
affiliations. The names are here and you have a link to it in yours in the committee list, so it's in there. We can get out where they're all from.
Oh, yeah, no problem, absolutely, and there can be a follow-up email to this meeting.
Well, thank you guys very much for that discussion on that. Our poet laureate commission representative is John Johnson. And
Yay.
then the Woodland Indian Arts Program, Karen Ann Hoffman is the chair, and then we have Beth Bashara, Barb Munson, former Arts Board Chair, and Sharon Stewart, former Arts Board member, and Sharon Stewart, their former Arts Board member, serving on that committee. And those are our current committees. You do not need to, I need to I don't need to
You
I
get,
appoint
you get
these,
the point, so.
yeah, so we're good.
I don't need to.
You just point the golden finger.
No. I never chose to do, it is looking at what would you like to do, so now that we've done this and you've looked at this, now would be a great time, not now at this moment. Now to look at it and look at what your commitment level, et cetera, and if there is a committee you're on. That you're like, this does not float my boat, or it's not where my, where I can be best used on the board. Let me know, and if there is one where you do have interest, we just need to keep in mind, walking quorums and just perception of a walking quorum, even if, you know, we've got in our bylaws how things can happen and can't happen as a board, but it's important. John, you're holding.
Yes, I have to leave after noon, and I just wanted to get 2 minutes on the poet laureate. I can do it later. Would you?
We can, when we get to a regular meeting, we can move your report up in the agenda, so that you can report on that right away.
Absolutely, and two things, on this list. Bottom of the page, you see it says board chairperson is considered a member of all the committees. So in case we missed that, the language is on the committee list always. And then the other thing I just wanted to say on Karen's behalf, and I know John, I hope has heard from her on this. The strategic planning committee has been dormant at this moment. And it seems a little odd to be doing strategic planning at a moment when we don't know what the world's gonna look like. So when we see how that falls together, we can start talking about how we'll do that. But in the short term, we can say, we're gonna extend the strategic plan we're in now and then move to creating something new when we know what new looks like.
Thank you. So as of right now, the committees stand as the committees are, knowing that these can move in flux as they are appointed by the chair and obviously with consideration given all around. So it's not a vacuum.
And if you're ever looking for this, they're in the board orientation site, which is not open to the public, but for you. So if you don't have access to it because you've lost that link, let us know, we'll get it to you. But all those kind of really interesting and important arts board documents.
We just send that out following this,
We'll send that out.
To all of us.
meeting.
because I think I would have to go back a long ways to find
Probably.
That's a
that,
good
and I'm
idea,
assuming
yeah.
it has changed. Things have changed in there since
We like the
your
things.
board orientation.
Yes, we like to send.
Perfect.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can I have like a regular check? I'm just thinking with the Indian Arts, like I'm overdue on checking in with those folks to say, are you still, you know, you're serving on this committee still? We don't have a
Barb and
regular
Sharon?
schedule. I'm thinking back to,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I imagine Barb and Sharon are still up for serving, and maybe Beth is as well, but maybe we.
Yeah, I think it
Schedule
would be
time to check
polite,
it, just
right?
to check
Let's
it,
send them a
yeah.
note.
Yeah.
Let's send them
And
a
that would
note.
be this time of year, when
Okay.
we're creating the list, it would be the right time to read.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
I would just like to provide a quick update. Susan went to our office, but she is on the way here and she'll join us shortly.
All right, thank you. All right, is there any other business anyone wants to bring as part of our annual meeting? Let me see the screen just to make sure. All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the annual meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, is that Chandra?
Yes,
Thank you.
Second. Mitchell
Thank
second.
you. Mitchell second, okay, perfect. We have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. All right. Does anybody need a minute or so before we get into the next part of our meeting? Five, just so if people want to get coffee or something, I think we'll move quickly. I mean, we can take 3. If we see the 2 of you sitting at your desk and we're all here, we'll just get going again. Okay? Jonathan, Nora, that's good?
They're not nodding, they can't hear.
Am I muted?
They're just-
John and
We
Nora.
finally started hearing you again. The sound got turned off when the recording was turned off.
Oh, got it, okay. We're gonna take a
Yeah.
couple of
But
minutes here.
the sooner we get started, the longer I can stay, so that's.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like-
it's just. All right. Is everyone ready to go?
I just have a quick question. Is Mari not attending?
Right.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna wait till Caitlin walks back in just to give a breather. Just for people.
I have to leave a little early, Brian.
Okay,
Oh. We kept forgetting.
So Jane, I was at another board meeting and their magic owl, which I think might be an otter or something, actually transcribes the notes. So